seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
From beautiful Saline in southeastern Michigan.
Around the world at sunskyMysteries.com.
This is the 2009 Top 10 Webcam in the World winner. This is SETV.
Hello, Bill Zam here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Surrounded by Idiots. And also, we are the Michigan League of Fed Up Citizens. The show archives can be seen at ussamichigan.com, including all the show notes that you will see on the show tonight, with all of the links as well as the audio version of the show, so you can follow along while you're listening to the show. Or you can open up the YouTube archive and open up another window with the show notes on it, and you can still follow along. Tonight we have some interesting stories. It's going to be a little bit of a short show tonight, simply because, if you recall, last night I showed you that roasting chicken that I had, that was frozen at the time, that I got for 49 cents a pound, way back last year. That's the price chicken was last year for a whole roasting chicken, 39 cents a pound. Now I think it's like $1.29 or something like that. That's your inflation for you. That's why you don't see the government coming out with its latest really great inflation stories. Hold on one second while I do some various things here on our computers, because I was kind of caught with my pants down, as it were. Let's go ahead and reload that page right there, and let's go to the show notes. Now, I have a particular delight, a liking for news aggregation sites. If you go to the Drudge Report, that's basically a news headline aggregator site. Most of their stuff is probably hand-picked, as opposed to some of the automatic sites that you see. But there is a really great site on the internet that I just discovered yesterday. It is called myway.com. That's myway.com. It's basically a news aggregation site. No pop-ups, no ads, no nothing. I would imagine probably what they do is they get paid by the various news organizations to put stories up online, I would think. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money at doing something like this. You got stories from the AP, New York Times, MSNBC, USA Today. You've got some stories I saw in here came from Fox News and places like that. It's a pretty nice looking site, pretty simple. Now, our homepage, we actually have an in-house homepage that a lot of people apparently actually use. From what I see on the traffic reports from the website, it is in fact called Escape to Zamistan. It's I bill it as the where you want to start on the internet here. Let's go over here and take a look at Zamistan, where your journey begins. Hold on one second. It appears that, okay, very good. Excellent. Ha 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 ha. The page crashed. Even better. It's been that kind of a night here. Here we go. Hold on a second. There we go. There's the web page. Apparently, we're having a few problems with some of the servers here at Saline Entertainment Television. But you can see right here. Let me fix that. Well, we don't want to do that either, do we? Okay, there we go. This is our homepage. We call it Welcome to Zamistan, where your journey begins. We have very convenient hand-picked news headlines at the top and links like you have never seen before. We have just about every type of news and alternative media site. We have what we call transportation-related sites, which are basically webcams around the world. Duluth Harbor, World Boat Interactive, the Isle of Wight shipping page. We have, believe it or not, we have some links for train stations and train switching yards, so you can actually see the trains as they go by. And we have, listen to this, we have put together some of the most complete weather sites that you have ever seen. We have worldwide ocean temperatures, animated of course. We have the solar ray burst website on here, your satellite surface map, your 60-hour forecast, the U.S. radar loop, the current Midwest surface plot, the U.S. visible surface, and for in-house here, weather in Gaylord, where the shack is, here in Saline, where the Saline Entertainment Television Network headquarters are. West Branch, because we know somebody that lives up in West Branch. Your national weather, space weather, the SWPC electric power grid warnings, which is very handy to have, your latest Sun CME animation, the latest jet stream, and the latest national radar. All those different kinds of weather websites are available at Zamistan. There is, if you go to USSA.com and click on the link for tonight's show, that would be 10/12/12, and click the link for our homepage. It'll take you there because the address is kind of convoluted. At any rate, let's get back to the show. Tonight, we have more information about the sinkhole. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, we are going to do some political news, but it will be at the end of the show because it always gets me so upset, and be better when we're finishing the show as opposed to the beginning of it. As you know, the sinkhole in Louisiana is getting bigger every day, and there have been some new developments. We also put our team, our crack team of cats, on doing internet searches. They were searching on the internet all day, looking for information about the pipelines that run through the area where the sinkhole is. And, of course, they succeeded. Now let's take a look over here at the sinkhole story, which comes with its own theme song only because it is such a bad story that only gallows humor can possibly make us take it.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea.
As you know, that was the theme song for the Sinkhole Stories. As you know, the sinkhole is down there in Louisiana, and it is quite a serious situation. Now, there are a lot of websites with a lot of information, and you basically have to figure out where you're going to go, what information you're going to use, and try to aggregate the information. Now, the first place that we sent the cats to was the EIA, U.S. Energy Information Administration, the EIA. That would be EIA.gov. And one of their websites, one of the pages at their website, has a map breaking down the U.S. natural gas pipelines transporting natural gas. Now, if you look here, you can see that we have a region called the Southwest. In the Southwest region, we have the Acadian pipeline system. And they conveniently, because this is the United States government, and they're so up on all the information, they have a convenient link for each one of the pipelines. And when you click the link, you get a page not found error, which is, we're talking about the United States government here. It's hard to believe, isn't it? At any rate, they have the pipeline name is the Acadian Gas Pipeline System. Now, the way that I found that particular name is by reading all of the different stories, the ones at Any News, ENE News.com. That's ENEnews.com. It's an energy news website. The Examiner.com. I believe they are Examiner.com. That has a lot of the stories. And I found a mention of the Acadian pipeline that runs through where the Sinkhole is. So we went from there, and hang on while I close a couple of tabs here. And we started looking at the different stories, and a story popped up today at Examiner.com, and it includes, tonight's update includes what you heard here first. There are major supply pipelines that run right the hell through the Sinkhole in Assumption Parish that provide natural gas and other vital supplies east of Texas. Now a section of that pipe has floated to the surface of the Sinkhole. Local officials, who apparently are spinning this out of control, have stated that the section of pipeline was, get this, previously emptied. What does that mean? That is a WTF statement of the super WTF variety. Very rare. So let's go and look at the Examiner.com article. And you can see right here at Examiner.com, a 25-foot pipeline section has floated to the surface of the Sinkhole. This was October 11th, 2012, by Deborah Dupree. She is an excellent reporter. She is a human rights reporter. There is a photograph of the section of pipeline. And the story goes like this. A 25-foot section of pipe identified as part of Acadian gas pipeline floated to the surface of the Bayou Corn Sinkhole Wednesday after cleanup of the slurry hole in northern Assumption Parish was indefinitely halted, according to parish officials. Well, I don't know if that's going to affect the flaring that they're supposed to start doing today, Friday, but I will search for that news after the show tonight. A 25-foot section of pipeline identified as part of the Acadian gas pipeline floated to the surface, officials reported Wednesday. And you see the quote right here. The pipeline was emptied previously. Since the sinkhole occurred, there is no earthen cover to keep the pipeline submerged, officials said in a blog post. This article continues. The risks associated with this incident is for workers in the sinkhole that they don't run over or into the floating pipe section. Safety measures are being taken at the site to avoid the risk. According to officials, a portion of the sinkhole edge, about 50 feet long, went under Tuesday near the pipeline corridors running along the western edge of the slurry hole. And of course, you'll never guess what. I did not have my graphics loaded for the show. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And we're going to go right here. And you can just go ahead and amuse yourselves while I call up the proper graphics here. Let me see. We're going to go over here and that one there. And then we're going to go over here and click that. And then we're going to click that like that. And then we're going to go back over here, and I'm going to do this right here. Let me see here. Nope. I'm looking for the graphics files to load them up. There's that one there, and there is that one there. Okay, the graphics are now loaded up. Okay, let's go back to the streaming screen. You can see right here that we have a map up at the top on the left-hand side there. And there are links in the show notes to take you to the articles and the websites where these maps are. This is called the Acadian Gas Pipeline System. And if you use the map and go over here, you can see all the different pipelines. This took quite a while to be able to find graphic of the map. So you can see here on the map, this is southern Louisiana. And if we zoom in right here, you can see where the red circle is. That is Assumption Parish. You can see that there are two natural gas pipelines going through there. And I believe the blue one is the pipeline that we are talking about. So, let's, we're going to do something that other websites and other shows don't do. We have some additional information about the Acadian Gas Pipeline System. And this is from manta.com. That's manta.com. The Acadian Pipeline System in Thibodaux, Louisiana is a private company categorized under gas transmission companies. Their records show that it was established in 1981 and incorporated in Louisiana. So, we already saw that map. Now, there is another blog out on the internet. It's called Sherry Questioning All. It's a blogspot website. It's Sherry Questioning All. And you can see in the show notes we have a link that goes to her website. And this is what it looks like. Bayou Corn. This was actually from September 20th. But she's got some good information, images, and videos of the sinkhole and the area that is rapidly becoming inundated by the sinkhole right there. And there is some information that she had on her website. Steve Horton, research scientist with the University of Memphis Center for Earthquake Research and Information. Horton sits on a scientific advisory committee that the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources formed to study the sinkhole, the tremors, and the natural gas releases that are also recurring in the bayous. On a sensometer, the sharp tremors are recorded as having one back and forth oscillation in less than a second. Multiple oscillations are bunched together like scribble scratch on a graphic depiction, and tremors last no more than a minute. In contrast, on the seismometer, the long period tremors are recorded as having one back and forth oscillation over 20 to 40 seconds. You got that? The sharp tremors, the needle on the graph goes back and forth real fast. Long period tremors, the needle goes back and forth very slowly. The wave pattern is easily distinguishable on a graph, and the tremors last for 3 to 4 minutes. Horton said he had never seen such a combination of tremors from the same area at the same time. And of course, we have an image of those tremors right here on your screen right now. This is from Bayou Corn in Louisiana. And of course, the USGS does not have this up at their website as far as we can tell. This is the graph. We will have the photograph, this image, up at the show notes website at usssamichigan.com. And that is your sinkhole update for tonight. Now, one of the things that is amazing to me is science. Science is a wonderful thing. It is complex, it is rich, it is wondrous, and we got science has given us a rover out on Mars. It's sending us high-definition images. That's amazing to me. At any rate, science has come up with a new bit of work. It's not a discovery. They actually made this. That's right. Science has finally been put in her rightful place. Bacon has been grown from stem cells. Now, we can't show you the article or even a snip of it because of some sort of no part may be broadcast copyright thingy. Sad, but true. You don't see that very often on the internet. No part may be broadcast, so we can't show it to you. In a move hailed by most Canadians and bacon-loving infidels, as well as the great Satans around the world, scientists have made bacon from stem cells. Now, can we just stop fighting for a few minutes and enjoy some nice GMO bacon? Come on, man. It's bacon. Doesn't matter if it's genetically modified or not. Bacon's bacon. Let's fry up some bacon and eggs and have some hash browns, and we're all going to eat good tonight. That's right. Now, on to the politics, because I have my chicken roasting in the oven, and I would like to eat. Now, there is a fella. His name is, let me see here, Thomas Petterfee. Thomas Petterfee. You've probably never heard of him. Maybe if you were on the CNN website, you may have heard, may have seen an article about Mr. Petterfee. We have a sound clip, an audio clip of Mr. Petterfee, and we are going to play that in just a minute after I read you my blood-boiling entry into tonight's politics. The first entry in tonight's politics session. What is criminal about this story is that there are exactly 2 entries that come up on Google about this. There should be far, far more. Now, CNN has a story about this, but I have declared a ban on CNN on this show. We don't show CNN articles, videos, or headlines on this show, but I have temporarily lifted that so you can see what the CNN headline for this story is. And they, of course, have warped it out of shape. It is Rich, Worried, and Buying Ad Time. That, of course, is not the message that is being put forth. The man was born into communism and is worried that the same thing is happening here in the United States, where he is now a citizen. Of course, CNN stands for everything that this man is worried about. You know what the headline should really be? Man buys airtime to do the job the mainstream media refuses to do because they are idiots. That's what the headline should be. Now let's take a look at the real story from Catholic.org. I believe they are the originators of the story itself. The wealthy are worried, and they're buying ad time to make their case to the American people as to why they are not the villains Obama is making them out to be. One billionaire, Thomas Petterfee, has already spent $5 million for ads that inform voters about the risks of socialism. He is the founder of Interact Brokers and is a billionaire just like I want to be, just to try it out for a little while, and he has provided his own ad about his fears. Let's listen to that ad right now.
I grew up in a socialist country, and I have seen what that does to people. There is no hope, no freedom, no pride in achievement. The nation became poorer and poorer, and that's what I see happening here. As a young boy, I was fantasizing about one day going to America, making a success of myself, the American dream. America's wealth comes from the efforts of people striving for success. Take away their incentive with bad-mouthing success, and you take away the wealth that helps us take care of the needy. Yes, in socialism the rich will be poorer, but the poor will also be poorer. People will lose interest in really working hard and creating jobs. I think this is a very slippery slope. It seems like people don't learn from the past. That's why I'm voting Republican and putting this ad on television.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen, in fact, on this show, I have read articles, I have read pieces, I have, and you just heard an audio clip, from people that lived in the Soviet Empire, part of the axis of evil. The evil empire, as Reagan used to say. All of these people, every single one of them, are warning us about what we are doing in this country. That's extremely important. The people that lived through this in Europe under the Soviet Union are all coming out, and they're raising their voices and saying, be very, very careful. What happened to us is happening in the United States right now. They're very serious about that. Let's go back to the show notes. In the article it says, at some point it became unpopular to be successful, particularly if that success came with wealth. The Obama campaign has capitalized on this, accusing the wealthy, who pay billions in taxes each year, of not paying their fair share. For some, it's a slap in the face after they have contributed millions in revenues to the government. The great concern is that the government, with its creeping tax hikes on the wealthy, is essentially sneaking socialism in via the back door. What must be understood is that America was a nation founded by businessmen who wanted economic freedom among other rights. They combined with other frustrated colonists to cast off British rule. Their success allowed them and their descendants, right down to us, the world's wealthiest nation. This is what Thomas Petterfee did. He was born in Hungary in 1944 as the Red Army attacked that country's capital. He grew up impoverished in the subsequently established socialist state. In 1965, he managed to immigrate to the United States, where he became a computer programmer on Wall Street. without being able to speak English. Petterfee learned English and eventually created a program that allows brokers to make trades online. He built his business, Interactive Brokers, and eventually paid nearly $2 billion in taxes. He has created jobs and donated to causes, yet he is being told he's not doing enough by the rhetoric of the Obama administration. Here is the actual article itself at Catholic.org. Catholic Online or Catholic.org. You can see the website address right there, and there's a photograph of Mr. Petterfee. And you can see what the real title of the article is. Fearful, self-made man fights back against Obama with ad. Not rich, worried, and buying ad time. That's not the headline of the story. So, there you go. Now, last night, there was a vice presidential debate. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say about it, and I can't, so let's go on to the story. Here we go. Last night, in the debate, Paul Ryan made light of the fact that his and Romney's tax plan is no different than Reagan's tax plan or John F. Kennedy's tax plan. At which point, dipshit Joe said, "Oh ho, so now you're Jack Kennedy too, huh, kid?" And Ryan said, "I'm closer to him than you are, old man." A major radio host has managed to dredge up a speech by JFK from December 14th, 1962 at the New York Economic Club, in which he laid out his tax plan for the United States. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. This was before the LBJ Great Society and before Kennedy was martyred. This was before whoever it was killed him in Dallas. Let it be said that JFK, were he alive today, would not be able to survive for one moment in what the Democratic Party has become, the purveyors of the United Socialist States of America, the USSA that our website, USSA Michigan, has as its web address. There is no Democrat alive today that would make that speech. This is the same sort of stuff that Art Laffer, Ronald Reagan, Rush Limbaugh, Romney, Ryan, Jack Kemp all espouse, as well as anybody with a brain that actually cares about this country, not anyone else. And now we have a Democratic president that wants to punish achievement, to punish everyone that wants to be better, that wants to succeed. We have a president that wants you and I to pay and pay and pay, and then he alone will decide who gets the payout. Last night we had a vice president and a Democratic Party that laughed, giggled, and made fun of and discarded that very plan that JFK put forth in 1962. They should be ashamed to be seen in public. They should be ashamed to have the once proud label of Democrat after their names, or as it is now known, the party of twits and misfits. And so, to end the show tonight, I am going to play a 2-minute and 6-second clip of the speech that John Fitzgerald Kennedy gave on December 14th, 1962 at the New York Economic Club. This was his economic plan. This is the same economic plan that I believe, and many others do, that we need to return to immediately, if not sooner. We should invent a time machine, go back a few years, and implement this plan. And then when we come back, everybody's going to be a lot happier. Let's listen, and after the clip, the show ends. Have a nice night. We will see you on our next show.
The administration pledged itself last summer to an across-the-board, top-to-bottom cut in personal and corporate income taxes to be enacted and become effective in 1963. I'm not talking about a quickie or a temporary tax cut, which would be more appropriate if a recession were imminent. Nor am I talking about giving the economy a mere shot in the arm to ease some temporary complaint. The federal government's most useful role is not to rush into a program of excessive increases in public expenditures, but to expand the incentives and opportunities for private expenditures. When consumers purchase more goods, plants use more of their capacity, men are hired instead of laid off, investment increases, and profits are high. Corporate tax rates must also be cut to increase incentives and the availability of investment capital. The government has already taken major steps this year to reduce business tax liability and to stimulate the modernization, replacement, and expansion of our productive plant and equipment. But our true choice is not between tax reduction on the one hand and the avoidance of large federal deficits on the other. It is increasingly clear that no matter what party is in power, so long as our national security needs keep rising, an economy hampered by restrictive tax rates will never produce enough revenues to balance our budget, just as it will never produce enough jobs or enough profits. Surely the lesson of the last decade is that budget deficits are not caused by wild-eyed spenders, but by slow economic growth and periodic recessions. And any new recession would break all deficit records. In short, it is a paradoxical truth that tax rates are too high today and tax revenues are too low. And the soundest way to raise the revenues in the long run is to cut the rates now.
I grew up in a socialist country, and I have seen what that does to people. There is no hope, no freedom, no pride in achievement. The nation became poorer and poorer, and that's what I see happening here. As a young boy, I was fantasizing about one day going to America, making a success of myself, the American dream. America's wealth comes from the efforts of people striving for success. Take away their incentive with bad-mouthing success, and you take away the wealth that helps us take care of the needy. Yes, in socialism the rich will be poorer, but the poor will also be poorer. People will lose interest in really working hard and creating jobs. I think this is a very slippery slope. It seems like people don't learn from the past. That's why I'm voting Republican and putting this ad on television.